Alright folks, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Dave. This is my channel. It's amazing how many people are subscribing to this. I think I was like at 1,300 subscribers or something. Crazy. Thank you. Just humbling and stuff. I want to talk about the impact of independent media over the weekend on Tulsi Gabbard's campaign and how we could be at a tipping point because independent, progressive, and have to throw a lot of bones out there to conservative media outlets who were saying that the whole Russiagate thing was a hoax. Of course, most of the conservatives wanted it to be a hoax, and a lot of the progressives and liberals obviously didn't want it to be a hoax, but you gotta give credit where credit is due, and those are the people who, would maybe be happy if it, was for real. I know Tulsi Gabbard said something very diplomatic and presidential in making the statement that it is good news that our president did not collude with the Russian government. It is good news for our country because she realizes dragging the country through a possible impeachment would not be good for the country. It wasn't good when Bill Clinton went through it. Even though he was not convicted in the Senate, it still was a blemish on the entire institution of the presidency and our government, and it makes everything look real shady, real slimy. And so she made the correct statement there. People in the media, though, they were like just so disappointed, and that just shows you how much bias and how much like a non-objective view is taken of every story rather than just getting to the bottom of it, doing it in a passive way and finding out the facts and then reporting those facts. But I can tell you, just even the local media that I watch is just embarrassing on some days. The types of stories they cover, their curiosity level into things that are slightly more complex. There's no curiosity whatsoever. If it's not entertaining, and this is why Donald Trump has done so well, because whether you like Trump or not, he's entertaining. You never know what he's going to say, and this has been the greatest thing for CNN and all these networks who supposedly oppose Trump, but I think that's crap. I really think they don't oppose Trump. I think they want Trump to succeed more so they can butt heads with him for another, how many years? 5 or 6 more years of this, That would be good for their ratings, and that's what they're most concerned about. So independent media has come along, and some of the people that I watch on some of these progressive channels they're superstars. They're like really articulate. They're brilliant in their analysis. Jimmy Dore is my favorite guy because I think he's just funny and entertaining. And his rants, when he gets on a genuine rant, I mean, it's stream of consciousness, and it's all... none of it is wasted. You know what I'm saying? All the words that he says are, just fantastic. And I've got a list on my YouTube channel now where I've subscribed. I've got RT America, which... for news, you're not going to get a better station. You're just not. Yeah, I know. Russian bots, right? Don't care. Don't care. Sputnik is pretty good, too, on the radio end of things. But RT America, Jimmy Dore Show, Kim Iverson, MCSC Network, Jamarl Thomas, I've been listening to a lot. Redacted Tonight, which is a show, obviously, that Lee Camp does on RT America. And there's a few others. Status Coup, I watch now and then. There's some infighting stuff that goes on within these channels where one guy does analysis on another guy, and then, there are other people on Twitter that they tell me to follow, and maybe they appear in different interviews and so forth on these channels. I'm just getting my footing on this stuff, so it's going to take a while for me to digest all this. But this is a pretty formidable bunch of media people who are really doing reporting and journalism and opinion and commentary all together, and I've enjoyed it because it's a completely fresh and different perspective. Now, I may get bored with it. I'm kind of ADD like that, you know. But it's not like the pendulum's going to swing completely back in the other direction. It doesn't mean, by the way, I'm not going to tune in to see what conservative people are saying as well. I like Tucker Carlson because I think he's intelligent. You know, I don't always agree with everything he says, and I think he can be a little caustic and sharp, but I'd rather watch him than anybody over on CNN or MSNBC for that matter. You know, I do enjoy, like I said, RT, and I really like the news that they do. They do just solid news, and they investigate, even like the conservative shows, like Crosstalk. They have like different perspectives. It's amazing what a different perspective will do for your thinking. It's just like neurons start firing again after being dormant for years, you know? So that's been good for me. But the premise of this video is, I'm not sure if independent media this year is up to the task of getting somebody into the White House. But if it continues to grow, which these channels, not just mine, but like the Kim Iverson channel and the Jimmy Dore channel are just exploding. I mean, people are, because they're searching. I guarantee you, even conservatives, you know, they've gotten off the grid and they'll go and they'll watch. I don't know. There's a lot of different conservative talkers out there and philosophers and people that just, you know, start talking and people listen to. There's a crazy libertarian guy from Vermont there, Stex Hexenhammer, whatever his name is. I think he's like an occult guy or something. But he's extremely entertaining. Again, I don't agree with everything he says, but he actually does very insightful analysis of the political scene. And he's definitely more center-right, but he's refreshing because you could tell he's not owned by anybody. And I think that's the key. If you're not owned by anything, you can do something. RT is funded by the Russian government, and they'll tell you on YouTube. They put a little Wikipedia blurb up if you're watching it on YouTube. Funded in part or in whole by the Russian government. So, I mean, you think that's going to stop me from watching it? Oh no, I stumbled upon a Russian propaganda channel. Let me get out of this, you know? No. I'm just wondering, you know, if this is the future, and I think it is, because I think these dinosaur channels are all going to fade away, because more and more people aren't going to trust them. More and more people are going to think what they're saying is crap after the Russiagate thing. Lee Camp likes to always bring up the WMD debacle. Where do those WMDs go? We still haven't found them, you know? It's like OJ looking for the real killer. I mean, it just hasn't been found yet. So we need to really think through, you know, the kind of content that we're providing when we do these videos. I know I'm just talking, whereas these guys are doing real professional journalism, and they're doing professional analysis. And sometimes it's even a little too much for me, and I'm like, wow, these guys are just too good, and I need to digest that and then come back to it. But I think if Tulsi Gabbard is going to go anywhere in this election, or any progressive or independent-minded candidate is going to do anything, they're going to need the help of everybody in the new media or the independent media, because the other media, not going to give them the time of day. And they're going to find ways to tear them down, and then even if they do great on screen during a debate or an interview, you've got to worry about the after commentary, which this is happening too much on these news channels, where somebody will come on later and just basically rip them apart without them being there. And I think that is that's been the trend for years. Even if you're not aligned with somebody from the right or the left, it's typically what happens to both sides once they've you know, made their presence felt on the channel, especially if it goes against the corporate narrative. If it goes against the corporate narrative, and even if they handle themselves well and the people see that, the people are going to be told and fed propaganda that, you know, what you just saw was an illusion. What this person just said about, you know, that we shouldn't be going into Iraq. Let's talk about that, and let's debunk what they've said. You know, they were doing that to Tulsi Gabbard on Morning Joe. Just ferocious attacks, making her look like some naive person who doesn't have a clue, and yet she could just run circles around them. Her military service, her community service, her public service, her faith and how it grounds her so she's able to really handle this stuff and not get flustered. I mean, she's a star. She's a rock star, a legitimate rock star, not a Beto O'Rourke rock star. So, just some thoughts on the independent media, and I think we need each other, and we need to support each other. That's why we need to tell our friends, tell our neighbors, get on Twitter, and be civil, be nice, because there's too much just caustic garbage on Twitter. You know, I had another Twitter handle for my other channel, and I had to delete it because it's just being trolled, personal attacks, and I wasn't even talking about anything really that important. So, in any event, let's go social media, and let's go independent media, and I think it's the future. And I'll talk to you soon. See you then.